was talking to my daughter who's in high school about school, and she was getting really stressed out about not receiving this certificate because she was missing her grades by 1 percentage point. And as I'm hearing her talk about this and listening to her go on about it, I start to think this is just ridiculous. I was like, we need to stop worrying about, oh my God, the 1 percentage point and getting this certificate because of the way it looked or made you feel because everyone else was getting one. And we just need to focus on being the best versions of ourselves, regardless of getting a certificate or being a certain number. And I started to think about it more, and as we were talking more about school, I realized, this is a society that we live in. We live on a society that's based on benchmarks, and it's not just at school, it's at work. We have to reach certain goals and benchmarks, so that we're not appreciated or praised, or we don't get a certain bonus. It's there in our personal lives on social media. We want so many likes and shares, and that's the only way that we feel good. And so we've become a society of benchmarks that relies on outside appreciation and validation for what we're doing and whether we're doing well or good enough. So as I started talking to her, I was like, okay, we need to just stop this and focus on being the best version of you. And that's it. Who cares about any outside validation? Sure, you're going to make mistakes along the way. As long as you take the time to learn and grow from the mistakes and continue to work towards what you want to achieve, you'll get there, regardless of those benchmarks or not. It's funny because if we let go of those benchmarks and just focus on goals and meaningful goals. Your goal should not be to be number one or be a certain top 10, or it should also not be to get all 90s. I said, have a meaningful goal of why you're trying to achieve something and where you want to go. And when you have a meaningful goal, the rest will follow. Success will follow. And you know what? Oddly enough, a lot of times you'll actually hit that benchmark that you were trying to initially achieve, but you'll do it without the stress of trying to achieve it. So when you focus on just that number or just that benchmark or the outside validation or certificate or award that you're trying to get, what ends up happening is you'll get that, but it'll be a temporary happiness, it'll be a temporary achievement, it won't really have any meaning, and it won't last long with you, and it'll actually be a very lonely feeling afterwards. But if you focus on something that's meaningful and just continue to grow and get there, you will feel and achieve the greatest success. So as I tell my kids every day, I'm like, stop worrying about the benchmarks or being a certain top or being number 1 or number 5, whatever it is, and just be the best version of you. And that will lead you to the best life that you will lead. So that's all. Cheers, everybody.